My husband introduced me to his coworker, and I realized she already knew our secrets. I was standing in our kitchen at 11:47 p.m., holding Daniel's phone in one hand and a wet dinner plate in the other, when he walked in from the garage and stopped cold. He looked at the screen, then at me, and said very quietly, "Why are you going through my phone?" Not, "What did you find?" Not even denial, just that. My hands were shaking so badly I set the plate down in the sink before I dropped it. His phone was open to a group photo from his office happy hour. Everyone was smiling around a high-top table at a bar downtown. Daniel had his arm around a woman named Elise. His thumb was resting on her waist like it belonged there. I knew who she was. He'd introduced us 3 weeks earlier at the company holiday party at the Marriott. She hugged me and said, "It's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about your garden." I remember forcing a smile because that was such a specific thing. Daniel never cared about my garden. He complained that I spent too much money on tomato cages and bags of mulch. I asked him that night how she knew that. He said, "I probably mentioned it." Standing in the kitchen, I scrolled higher. There were months of messages. Most were ordinary at first. Complaints about meetings, jokes about their manager, coffee orders, then it changed. "She fell asleep on the couch again. I wish I was with you tonight. I miss your shoulder." And one from Elise 2 weeks before the holiday party. "Are you sure she doesn't suspect anything? I don't want to look stupid." Daniel stepped closer and told me it wasn't what it looked like. That sentence made me laugh, which surprised both of us. I asked him if she'd known about me the whole time. He rubbed his forehead and sat at the kitchen table. He looked exhausted, like he was the one who'd been ambushed. He said they'd been seeing each other for 8 months. 8 months. We had celebrated our 9th anniversary during that time. We went to Savannah for a weekend. He bought me a silver bracelet from a shop on River Street. I had thanked him while he was sleeping with someone who knew what flowers I planted in our backyard. The part that hurt most wasn't even the sex. It was that he had apparently been talking about me, my habits, my schedule, the fact that I left for yoga on Thursdays at 6:15, the little things that make up a life. I asked if he loved her. He stared at the wood grain in the table and said, "I don't know." That answer felt worse than yes. I slept in the guest room for a week. He cried. He promised therapy. He said he had been lonely, that we'd become roommates, that he never meant to hurt me. I kept thinking about Elise smiling at me over a tiny crab cake and telling me she loved my earrings. I contacted her once. I didn't yell. I just asked whether she knew he was married when it started. She replied, "Yes. He told me you were basically separated emotionally." That phrase stayed with me. Basically separated emotionally. As if marriage could be reduced to a technicality. Daniel moved into a one-bedroom apartment in February. We started the divorce paperwork in March. Our house sold in June. I packed the gardening tools myself. Last week, my lawyer called to say everything was final. I sat in my new apartment on the second floor of a building that smells faintly like curry and laundry detergent and waited to feel relief. Mostly I felt tired. Daniel and Elise are still together, at least according to what a mutual friend told me. I don't ask questions anymore. Some nights I still wonder which parts of our marriage were real. The bracelet is in my junk drawer. The tomatoes I planted on my balcony are growing crooked because they don't get enough sun, but they're growing. I don't think I'll ever get an explanation that makes sense. I don't think Daniel is a monster. I think he was selfish and weak, and I was the person standing closest when he decided to blow up his life. I miss who I thought he was. I miss who I was with him. And some nights, that's the part that hurts the most.